Hi everybody, Nick McDonald speaking. Welcome to this week's ICE commentary on the dollar index and currency markets. Just some interesting developments out of Europe. On Friday we had the S&P come out and downgrade a number of European countries. I am sure you'll all remember what happened when the US was downgraded, and the downgrade happened again later on a Friday after the markets had closed, in fact. And then we had a big gap when the US markets opened again on Sunday evening. We had a big gap downwards and the markets reacted quite badly to that. Stock markets did. Currency markets reacted fairly strongly as well. Now, we had that news come out, and I'm just, waited now for the currency markets to open up. The impact on currency markets is not that huge. In fact, let's just go and have a little look at euro dollar. So obviously euro dollar was already down on Friday on that news, and then what we've had today is just a little bit of a gap down from the close on Friday. So just zooming right in here on that action. Closed around about 126.76, and we've just opened up a little bit down below that. So nothing too major there, but obviously we've got a really strong downtrend on euro dollar. We'll come back and look at that in a moment. But let's just come back to the dollar index. And we identified some of these key levels, 8100 being a support level, and we had a number of good bounces and a rejection off that earlier in the week. And then what we've got here is resistance up at 82. Now, that's a daily chart. Let's have a look at the weekly chart, because we'd marked in 82 and said this is a pretty clear target level, and we've now got there. We've got there, we've tested it. Question is, do we get beyond it? And my feeling is that yes, we will. And when I say feeling, this is based on technicals, that we now, based on fundamentals out, with a change in the markets and news out of Europe last week, but also based on the strength of this trend and based on technical levels, I do think we'll begin up and testing kind of 83 to 84. Now, we also had this level marked in on a monthly chart up in this 83 to 84 region is that 50 to 62% pullback region. So this is a clear level. I'm looking for around about 84 here. Let's just in fact mark this in as the next target, up around 84, in fact just slightly ahead of it, because what we have through here is just some resistance in around 83.50. So in around that zone, it's right in the middle of the 50 to 62% pullback. We could therefore go as high as say 85, but that's the kind of zone I think we should now pull back to. I think the momentum is strong enough to pull us up into that kind of zone at least. So it is a, like I just explained last week, it is a pullback in a longer term bear market here when you look at this in the monthly perspective, but it doesn't change the fact that in the shorter term, the daily chart, the weekly chart are uptrending strongly and likely to pull back into those regions. So based on the weekly, I'm looking at more like 83.20 for the next level of resistance, but nothing much stopping the price getting there. So from 82 to 83.20, we've got pretty much blue skies, and I think we could get as high as 84 or even 85. So pretty bullish looking there on the dollar index. Let's go and have a quick look at euro dollar. Just have a think as well. Is there anything that could change things on euro dollar? Is there anything coming up that could switch the direction of euro dollar, therefore the direction of the dollar index? Firstly, just looking at this daily chart, it is a beautiful downtrend. Really, really, really nice. Look at all the times it's been pulling back in, candles turn bearish, and then we break down. So the trend is really strong, likely to continue. Biggest thing is, and we talked about it last week too, biggest thing is this 125 region coming up. It's about 140 points down, but again, though, a little bit like a clear run of 120 points up on the dollar index, this should have a clear run of 120 points down to 125. 125 there is a big level. This is, and look how, if we zoom out, look at how big 125 is. It's really, really, really major, coming all the way back into 03, 04, 05, 06, all through here. Major lows in 2008, tested again 2010. So this is a big level, and it is going to, it's a technical level, and it is going to have to be a very, very bearish euro dollar to get down through that level. It can certainly get down like it has in the past and then reject. It can also get down and fall right through. But euro dollar to fall below 1.2 is going to be extremely bearish. 1.25 is the biggest thing in the way of that. Let's just mark in 1.2 as well while we're there, because that is, if we get through 1.25, you can see clearly 1.2 is the next one. After that, there is nothing much propping euro dollar up. It could fall a lot further. So this is going to depend a lot on news. It's going to depend on a lot on what politicians do to change the market, or to satisfy the needs of the public in terms of the way they are perceiving this market. So it's going to be a little bit news driven, but for now, based on momentum, the momentum is down. We've got 125 potentially stopping it. If that comes into play, then we'll probably see a bit of a decline on euro dollar as we see a bounce. Sorry, a bit of a decline on the dollar index as we see a bounce on euro dollar. If we ignore that and go through it, then yeah, we're certainly talking 1.2, and we'll be talking the upper extremities on the dollar index, that this could certainly be getting significantly higher than where it is now. As I say, though, it is going to be news driven. We do need to keep a close eye on Europe. I will be trading with the momentum of the market right now. I'm quite happy to be doing so, but also just having to keep a very close eye on that news, and also bearing in mind whenever we are trading in such a news-driven market, just keeping risk management in mind and knowing that no matter how strong the momentum, there is always the chance that a politician or a ratings agency or a president of a country, a prime minister of a country can go out and just with a few different words change things quite significantly. And that's happening on in these markets a lot. So we do need to be keeping an eye on the news and just keeping an eye on our risk management, because we cannot predict the news. None of us can. We don't know exactly what will happen. We might have a view on what's going to happen, be it really good or really bad, with the eventual conclusion of what happens in Europe. But it's looking more and more likely it's going to take quite some time to resolve. It could be months before we see a resolution. Therefore, in the meantime, just have to be aware of that risk management and know that we can't predict the news. Therefore, know that we should be managing our risk in the case that we are wrong and the direction goes against us. But just to recap, my view on direction: dollar index looking bullish, likely to go higher, euro dollar likely to go lower. Just watching these key levels. We're at one right now on the dollar index, but I think we'll push through 82. I'm looking at around about 83.20 to the upside before it runs into any resistance. More than likely testing up around even 84 and 85 in the coming weeks. And whereas euro dollar got some major support down there at 125, if it gets through that, we've got 1.2 below that. Going to be difficult for the market to get through it, and it will depend on just how bad the news out of Europe could get. If it gets better, then even more likely we're going to see a bounce off those levels, but we just need to keep a very close eye on things. Happy trading all. Have a wonderful week. It's a nice trending market. That is nice to see. It is a holiday in the US today, Martin Luther King Day, so a little bit quieter on the markets, but US markets opening again on Tuesday, and there'll be a shorter trading week, and we shall watch certainly very closely how these futures markets open up on Tuesday. Happy trading all. Have a fantastic week. Speak to you soon.